This is Martin John, and I am talking all about the Tao of the day. How's everybody doing today? Good morning, and I am excited to present the Tao. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE, and ancient texts um, are important texts for us to look at as we are shifting to a new way of processing, a new way of thinking. We're getting away from the logic and trying to have more faith in, the whole of everything. And the Tao is the whole, and you are part of that. And when we step away from the logic aspects of the world and what we do and why we do it, we start to lose sight of, we start to see that excuses and the reasons that we're doing things aren't as important as just why, like what we're doing. When we look at the world and when we examine what's going on around us and we say, oh, look, I am sad because of this, this, and this, or I am angry because of this, this, and this. Well, that's a really short-sighted way of looking at the world. That's a short-sighted way of looking at yourself. You are divine. You are perfect in every way. And if you want to compartmentalize that and say, I'm sad because of a thing, or I'm happy because of a thing, well, you're kind of missing some key aspects of the whole. When we just kind of chalk it up to, I'm sad because they didn't have, like the dish I wanted at my restaurant, or I am sad because I'm in a breakup, or I'm sad because I am having this experience. Well, that experience might be coming on because you need that experience. That experience might be happening because, of some celestial thing. When we can step away from this idea that everything has to have a reason and that everything in our experience needs to be accounted for, well, we really lose sight of our divinity, of our strength, and of who we are. This has nothing to do with masculine and feminine, but when we talk about masculine and feminine energies, we talk about and that has nothing to do with women and men, nothing at all. And if you have been confused by that, then, well, that's on you. uh, so yeah, masculine and feminine as an energy, it's about substance and structure, right? And yes, men do approach things from men can be seen as having approached things from a certain perspective, from this perspective of structure, um, where women might focus more on substance. But that doesn't have anything to do with you being masculine or you being feminine or you being a man or you being a woman or you identifying as a man or a woman or anything like that. It just has to do with, if you are in the mode of I'm a man and I need to be a man and I need to do this, and you have these ideas, well, then you're living under the influence of society and how society has put you under that influence. Like, that's not real. Like, your energies may shift and you may have different sorts of hormones and other things like that, but like what you do is still up to you. And so when we look at Tao, we start to strip some of these influences away. And as someone who's coming out of, addiction, I got 22 years clean and sober, and a large aspect of what I talk about is what is it we're recovering to. And when I talk about those things, when I address what are we recovering to, I'm always telling you, let's find out where you're living under the influence. And we're born and we live under the influence of our parents, and they were born and lived under the influence of their parents, and your grandparents were living under the influence of your great grandparents, and these were happening, and there's so many more great grandparents than there are grandparents, and there are parents in your life that you are taking on all of that conditioning, and you're taking on all of that influence, and everything that they lived under the influence, you were born living under the influence of as well. And so when we look at Tao, we start to look at, well, let's get out from under the influence of all of these things and see who I am, because I am the greatest ever, and you are, and you have control of your entire life. Now, that doesn't mean you have control of others, and that's why the Tao is here. because the Tao is here to help us live a reasonable life. And what do I mean by live a reasonable life? And I've said this a million times. It's all about living a life where you're not asking others to change for you. Just taking a sip of a decaf this morning. I decided to, it's a little chilly out, so I decided to have a warm beverage instead of my iced kombucha. So yeah, so I am looking at the Dow this morning, and there's a lot going on in my life right now. I'm gonna be buying a house, and um, there's sadness in my life, and there's happiness in my life, and it's all very much part of just an experience. And I get to observe it. I get to sit and observe it. And there's something calling me a lot to just sit quietly. And, sitting quietly these days has been really just pleasant. It's been beautiful. And I've been just able to just be there, because it's not easy to just be there. And we all need to find those moments where stillness is at the, stillness is the point. And when we can be still, we'll find happiness a little bit easier. So if anybody wants to come up and pick a number between 1 and 81, I would love to have you. Um, I would love to have you. I would love for you to join me for the Tao Te Ching and Tao of the Day. If you have a number between 1 and 81, please come on up, and I would love to host you here on this channel. Curious Anarchist. I think that's what it said. Let's see.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm glad to hear
It's
that. You're curious.
indeed, I am. Real name Jermaine,
Jermaine.
Jermaine Gregory.
Jermaine?
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Jermaine. I'm glad to have you up here. Are you familiar with the Tao Te Ching?
I have been through your live rooms previously.
Okay.
I think maybe a couple of times. I'm new to this app, so yeah,
Well,
I'm kind of
welcome.
still.
Let me
Yeah,
start
thank
there.
you. I joined this week, or was it late last week? Um, so yeah, I'm just kind of getting used to how this works and like the functions, and I've answered a few questions and stuff. And I saw your, in fact, let me follow you right now. I saw
Hmm.
your live, and I thought, oh, let me just stop by and just listen in. But here I am on stage now, speaking with you. So yeah,
Well, is this your
thank you.
first time speaking?
Yes, it is
Oh, well,
indeed.
welcome. This is huge. This is great. I really appreciate you, you trusting me with a little of this, and no, I would love to bring you through a DAO. So now you've heard me talk to other people, so I'm going to ask you for a number. But before we get into that, do you have any questions about the app? So I was a beta tester for the app, so I've been on the app for over a year, and I would
Uh,
love to be able to field anything that you might have like a question about.
um, I think I'm still kind of getting used to using the app, how it functions, like
Yeah.
swiping and finding people, finding particular topics. I haven't really fully immersed myself in some of the other functions other than sort of snooping on what people are talking about.
Yeah, that's
But yeah.
really like I see when I get on the app, I don't really look too much at the recorded things. Sometimes when there is a person that I follow,
Mm,
um I will go on and I will listen to a recording that they have. So when you applaud or like or do anything like that, it goes into your likes category. So you can find people through that. You can go back to your profile, look at the programs that you liked, and be like, oh, I can follow some people that I heard talking or whatever. So those are some little things that I know that I do to try and find good people to talk to and good people that are kind of like talking about content that I want to hear about and I want to
mm,
connect with. And also connecting with people off of this app, because this app isn't necessarily the easiest in like searching for somebody. Like, so if you
Mhm.
wanted to find a certain person, that's not always easy unless you have a talk or you like to talk where they were present. Then you can kind of go through the guests or go through the people that you were talking to. So,
Yeah.
but that is a little bit of an Achilles heel, I think, in the idea of searching for somebody and trying to find out if they're online or if you can talk with them or whatnot. Yeah.
That
So
would be
I'm going to go
interesting.
ahead and ask you for a number between 1 and 81.
33.
33.
Yeah.
Okay. So 33, entitled You Are Not Manifestation. Study others and gain some knowledge. Study yourself and gain deep wisdom. Controlling others takes strength, but controlling your ego and desires takes power and perseverance. Knowing that you have enough gives you wealth. Grasping for money and love forces you to conform. Embrace who you are and stay centered in that. And although you will die, you will not perish.
Mm.
So, what are
Mm.
some of your initial thoughts?
Um, really resonating with the idea of not protecting, but kind of, I guess, allowing the ego to just be, to observe it without having it dominate over relationships with myself and with others. That was a
Yeah.
really um, interesting point there. I'm just thinking of a situation that occurred last night where I could have quite easily got into my ego, but I stayed, I think, or at least my perception of myself believed, right, that I stayed in an observatory manner where I was observing what I was feeling whilst speaking to the other person, speaking with the other person,
Yeah.
um, and remaining curious, which is, why I kind of called myself, I think, curious anarchist, to remain in the curiosity rather than the, oh, how does this make me feel? How does this make me hurt? Like, instead of looking for that solely, to look for that, but also to broaden the perspective so that I can see
Yeah.
like an owl from an owl's a bird's eye view. That's the one.
Right. Yeah. Like a hawkeye, right? Just up in
Yeah.
the perch, just kind of like observing it from a distance. It's interesting. Controlling others takes strength, but controlling
Right.
your ego and desires takes power and perseverance. And that's the line that you're
Mm.
referring to. And it's so, when you get your ego hurt, you immediately try, not you personally, but when I have gotten my ego hurt in the past, I have and I've allowed that to control what I do. I
Mm-hmm.
will often try to defend myself or
Yeah.
try and change the person's perception, and that's
Right.
controlling others, right? Controlling others takes strength, and I could yell and I could be strong and I could allow them, I could try and persuade or cajole them into believing what I have is right, or into believing whatever my ego wants me to make them believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next line, but controlling your ego and desires, controlling your desire for wanting something from them, wanting their approval or wanting
Mm.
whatever it is they're trying to
Mm.
dish out, takes power and perseverance, not strength. That's power. And what you're talking about, like, you perceived yourself as trying to stay in that moment
Mm-hmm.
and observe it. Now, whether or not you were successful, you can't know until you reach another plateau, until you reach another place where it's like, oh yeah, I could have done that better. But at this moment, you have done the best you can in
Mm-hmm.
perceiving how you can not try and control that person you can just walk through that hurt ego.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so we're going to go through this a little bit more in depth, and just kind of go through it line by line and see what else it might have for us. But that's really beautiful. So the first line is study others and gain some knowledge. Study yourself and gain deep wisdom.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts
Um,
then?
I'm actually writing a book currently on self care,
Mm-hmm.
um, broadening the perspective of self care from, just taking care of the body or exercise or just nutrition to the actual mindset,
Mm-hmm.
how we treat ourselves, how I treat myself, and therefore I guess this is the reciprocity, the exchange that takes place. How I treat myself is how I treat others.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, yeah. There's some real gems in that one. Mm,
Yeah, and you know, when you treat yourself a certain way, you recognize how it makes you feel and
yeah.
what it does for you. Um, back in 2014, I got diagnosed with MS, lost about 80% of the motor function on my left side, and now when I eat sugar or when I eat carbs or when I eat poorly in any way, like for me, I'm not saying poorly for everybody. It's just like I stick to my diet. When I break my diet, I can recognize what goes wrong. Now, if I were to study others, I would say, well, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And I gain some knowledge.
Mm,
But that knowledge might not have anything to do with me.
mm,
And if I say, well, I like the way this person looks and this is what they eat, so I'm going to eat what they eat. Well, that doesn't take into consideration my life, my experience, my MS, or anything like that.
right. Totally agree.
Okay, and then we go into the line of controlling others takes strength, but controlling your ego and desires takes power and perseverance. We went through that fairly deeply. Do you have anything else to add?
Um, I'm not sure. I'm kind of mindful of the clock. I didn't realize that there was actually a timer
Oh yeah.
when you
So
were
you are
guessing.
here. You are here for like I have my clock set for 15 minutes. You can change that in your
Okay.
settings.
Okay.
And yeah, and we'll get through this in the next 5 minutes. If you have to go, you let me know and you can step away. And
Yeah.
I can boot you off the stage or you can take yourself off. Um but yeah, if you were to do a talk, I think the default is 15 minutes. It might be 10, but if you go to your settings before you start a talk, you'll be able to change the amount of time that you will allow people up. So if you just want to like have something quick, you can set it for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 30, and an hour.
Okay. I got you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And there's something that's coming through in just this short snippet just now, of listening to you, paying attention to you, and then I'm receiving the information and I'm checking with myself. Okay, how long would I feel comfortable with? you know, how long is suitable for me? Um, I've appreciated this chat. Actually, I've really appreciated it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
do
glad.
need to run, but yeah,
Yes. Yeah, you
this
go.
has been
I
awesome.
really appreciate it, and I look forward to chatting with you again.
Appreciate it. And is it Martin John? Okay,
Yes. And
thank
it's
you.
Jermaine, right?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
I look
Appreciate
forward
you.
to talking with you again, man.
Take care. Bye
Ciao.
bye.
Okay, well, everybody check out Jermaine. Like he's curious, wonderful. He's writing a book. Lois, how you doing?
Hey, Martin.
How you doing, sweetie?
I am wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
It's an early morning, huh?
Yeah, because I went to sleep early last night and woke up at 3.
Oh, oof.
So, and yeah, so I just been sitting here reading, and then I said, "Oh, let me go on the app and see who's on there," and there you were.
Here
So
I
I was
am.
like,
Here I am.
"Hey."
You know, I gotta say, like, last night was beautiful for me because I had been, I talk about pacifying. I talk
Mhm.
about pacifying sometimes, and I had been pacifying recently, and with like snacks at night
Mhm.
or watching a show before I go to bed and things like that. And last night I just felt really peaceful, and I felt I don't need to pacify. And I woke up and I woke up at my 4 o'clock and I journaled and I felt great and I exercised and I went for a little run and like it was just so nice. It was so nice to just feel me. again, you
Yes.
know, and that's and that was it just overtook me, and I felt really good. Not to say there's not a little, there's still no, you know, I'm still human, but I just
Yeah.
felt really good this morning, and I was gonna come on here at 8 o'clock, but I decided to come on at 7. Just I was just called to do that. I had Jermaine on, who is new to the app. He has not even done a talk yet, so I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to offer. He's writing a book on wellness, and looks like he'd fit right in.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I didn't hear you talking to him. I just saw I came on when you was getting ready to sign off.
Yeah,
And
he.
you were, but anyway, I'm so glad that you felt you feeling yourself. That's what it is. You're
Yeah,
feeling
that's a.
yourself.
You
I
know.
love when I feel myself because that's how I felt yesterday. Because I didn't take nothing to go to sleep. I didn't do nothing. I was just
Yeah,
there,
I had been doing
and
that
I didn't
too.
feel
Like
like
a little. Oh,
watching nothing. It's just like, bam, I was asleep. I was like, whoa, shit, what was that about?
yeah.
I guess I was
Yeah.
tired and didn't know it.
Yeah, you know, and that's interesting. You know, when I yeah, earlier today, I was talking about this idea that we have these excuses. We're just like, oh, this is why I'm doing something. This is why I'm doing
Hmm.
something. But I was like, we don't know why.
Nope,
You know,
nope.
we don't know why. We don't have to. We just like be here and just like, oh, last night I did that. And that's nice.
Yes.
And then tonight, let's see what happens. But I'll
That's how
get there
that's
when
how
I
I
get there.
feel. Cause I think I'm gonna go out after I talk to you. I'm gonna get dressed. I'm gonna walk my dog early, and then I'm gonna enjoy sitting on my front porch again, all in the enclosure, and just chill.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I can't wait. You know, like I think I mentioned I'm getting a house, so like I can't wait to have my house. I went out there the other day and I cleared up a lot of trees and bushes that were up against the house because I don't want no critters up in it.
Hmm.
And I was like, and I was just like, all right, I can't wait to just sit out here under my tree and
See,
under like
so
you know
you
like
know what
just
I'm
kind of
saying.
yeah, just like you know, and I'm up here. I'm gonna be down there in Hammond, Indiana, and you know, it's 20 minutes from downtown Chicago, 25 minutes from downtown Chicago. But it's like you know, I got some land. I'm gonna just sit in the grass, you know.
I know that's right. See, and then as you get used to it, then you can start having your little retreats and all that kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sitting
As
day.
it all takes place, I'm just gonna make it work, and it's not gonna be about chasing anymore. It's gonna be about like letting things come to me. I'm gonna
Yes,
have a place where where people can come and things can come, and I'm gonna invite the world to me.
that's right. Hey, and it will, and if you invite them, they will come. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's
Oh yeah.
because I'm
That's
like
for
I'm
sure.
letting stuff come to me too. I'm not running out chasing a damn thing. I learned after chasing that money down the street 4 years ago that I don't have to chase it.
That's right. That's right.
It
No, you don't have
comes
to
to
chase
me.
it. It comes
Okay.
to you. You just got to turn around and like look at the wind coming your way, and it's just floating
Yeah.
there in the wind. All the money, all it's all there.
Okay.
You ain't gotta chase it. You ain't gotta put it in a box somewhere to make sure you
Mm.
have it on a rainy day. It's like when the rain
No,
comes, you know, it's pennies from heaven.
there it is. There it is. Let me
So
see. I
tell me.
think I want number I don't know. 55 because five's been showing up a lot, but also eights have been showing up a lot.
All right, we're gonna do 55. Inner strength and harmony. One who has inner strength. Oh, this is the penis one. One
Ah,
who has inner strength is like a baby boy, unspoiled, flexible, and empty with no judgment. Bees, wild beasts, birds of prey cannot harm him. With no knowledge of the world, his penis can stand erect. He has no shame or question of why. Caught in manifestation, the myriad scream for a time, and he hardly notices. His harmony is so aligned, he can scream all day without getting hoarse. He is powered by his harmony, and it keeps all fear at bay. The master never speaks of possessing anything. Life is a blessing. Those who pursue power and excitement find themselves confused. They allow their emotions to guide them, and they become exhausted. It is not from Tao, and whatever is not from Tao arrives dead.
Wow, that said a whole lot, and it read differently. This is your version, right?
This is my version.
Okay, so we're going to break it down from your
We're going to
version.
break it down. Yeah, first one. So the first three sections of this four-section piece is all about this boy
Hmm.
and one who has inner strength is like a baby boy. And so this is about one having inner strength, unspoiled, flexible, and empty with no judgment.
That's
These are the things that we're going to experience. What's that?
the innocence.
Yes.
The innocence where you don't have there's no expectations, there's no trying to measure up, no trying to fit in, just
Hmm.
innocent, just like
Innocent.
just innocent. Okay,
Yeah. Beautifully put, right? One who has inner strength is innocent. Beasts, wild bees, wild beasts, and birds of prey cannot harm him.
that's right. Cause he don't have no perception of danger to
That's
for,
right. There's
you
no
know.
fear.
It's
There's
no
just
fear.
innocence.
It's
It's just
innocent.
like here I am. And when you step, you see a baby, a little baby boy just being innocent and like looking at things. He's staring at a bee, and the
Mm-hmm.
bee is like the bee's like, yeah, they don't feel threatened. So
Nope.
the bee doesn't care. The bee's like, I'm just gonna go about my business.
Yep. Because
So the
they're not threatened and the bees not threatened. They're not at enmity between anything and anybody because they're still innocent. They haven't drawn conclusions and say, "Oh, bee, let's move. Ah, this,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go."
And
Ah,
let me start freaking out and swatting at it and like getting
yeah.
away.
Uh huh.
With no knowledge of the world, his penis can stand erect. He has no shame or question of why.
Yeah, because one, he's innocent. He don't know what he's doing. And all he knows
Yeah.
his body is reacting, but he don't give a shit. Okay.
Yeah, he's just like, look, that thing's happening, but I'm about my business. I'm just going
Okay.
around looking at bees. Like,
Uh,
whatever.
uh,
Like
uh,
that thing's happening, but like I don't have any shame about it. I don't have any I'm not asking myself, well, what is this about? Why I'm not concerned. It's like it is happening and I'm
mm-mm.
just allowing it to happen.
Things just are, or things it just is. I just say
That's
it's not
right.
how to say that. Things just are. Yeah,
Yeah.
things just are, or it just is.
Caught in manifestation, the myriad, meaning all of the people,
Mm-hmm.
scream for a time and he hardly notices.
Mm-hmm. Cause he about his own business.
That's right.
He ain't caring about nobody else except enjoying taking in the view and not having any judgment about anything. So no, he ain't gonna pay no attention.
That's
Cause it's
right.
no judgment.
And the myriad scream for a time, and that means that they're gonna yell for an hour or whatever on the news or whatever, but they're gonna get tired, they're gonna get exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
His harmony is so aligned, he also can scream all day without getting hoarse.
Hmm.
you
And he
know
with his energy. Mm-mm.
right, because it's all energy, and it's like he can do that, and that's fine, but he won't get hoarse, right?
He ain't
He
trying
is
to push nothing. He ain't trying to prove nothing. He ain't trying to
That's
make
right.
nobody hear nothing.
He's just
He
screaming because he's
he
screaming.
just screaming because he's screaming. That's right. It just
That's right.
is. He's in his business.
He is powered by his harmony and keeps all fear at bay.
Yeah. But there's no fear if you just. I mean, when we accept things as is. That's like not good, not bad, not high, not low, not rich, not poor, but as is. There is no, there's nothing attached to it. It's
That's
just
right.
being in the isness, just being.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this last section is where it all really comes together. The master never speaks of possessing anything. Life is the blessing.
Yes, yes, yes. Because even when we get older, if we start my this, my that, my this,
Hmm.
my that, my this, then you pick up a whole bunch of bullshit. Ain't everything ain't just is no more because you just don't claim whatever it is, whether it's a disease, whether it's a car, whether it's a job, it's
Whether
your
it's health, whether
now you
it's
got
yeah,
health. You gotta now you have a responsibility because it ain't just is, it's yours. So you
it's
gotta figure
yours, so you're
out how to
gonna
keep.
lose it, right?
Yeah,
Like
you can
that's the
lose
thing.
it, or you got to figure out how not to lose it, and all that crazy ass shit. No, just let it come and go.
Yeah,
Shoot.
life is the blessing. Like what a
Yeah.
like life is the blessing. It's like
Yeah.
you are living, you are alive, and there's gonna be a moment when you're not. But
Yeah.
until that moment, this is life.
That's right. You got to be in your isness. I love
Yes.
man, your isness. You got to be in your isness. It just is. Everything just is. When we realize everything just is, like when the toilet and all that shit packed up on my ass the other day because I was
Hmm.
using a washing machine, which made no sense. I didn't try to make sense out of it. Like, oh well, that's what's happening. I
That's what's
go
happening.
lay my ass down because I'm not finna start tripping. Oh, got on plumber.
I need
Oh
a
my
nap.
god, oh my god, my floors. I just got these floors put in last year. No, I ain't do none of that shit. I said, okay, I can do what I can do, and then I can sit my ass down. It just is. Now let the water go down. We're gonna see what happens. And it ended up I ain't need no damn plumber. All I needed to do is let it run its course and put the little the the cleaner, the liquid, not liquid plumber. I don't know what the hell. Whatever they told me at the hard was put it in there and let it sit in the toilet. And they ain't had no more problems since. But it just was. It was just something that happened. That happens every now and then in a manufactured house. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, and I didn't have to call nobody. So, but what if I would have panicked, calling somebody? I ended up with $100 and some dollar bill for them to come and snake out something that didn't need to be snaked.
It'd be more than that, babe.
Well, I don't know what the hell it is, but I just know that
Yeah.
I was not going to panic. And
Right.
like the old Lois a couple of years ago, and I say couple, I'm like 3 years ago. As soon as I saw the water coming on the top of the toilet and my new floors, Lois would have fucking panic on my floor. But I looked at it, I was like, oh, is that what we doing?
Is that what we
And
do?
that's all I could think of is that what we doing? And I just put some towels down and I said, okay, let me try to plunge it. But then I realized, hey, wait, the bathtub is full of water too. What the fuck? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that main drain is clogged again. We just
Yeah,
gotta
there's
clean
something in the
that thing
main
out
drain.
again. So I'm gonna sit my happy ass down and
Yeah.
and I went to sleep. Woke
Oh
up,
yeah.
dealt with the shit, and I'm like, okay, now it's fine.
That's right. That
So
has to happen.
because
And
it just
and so as this one continues, it's like those who pursue power and excitement find themselves confused. And that's what would have happened if you tried to have power over that situation.
yeah.
You would have just been confused at what to do and you would have called someone else and you would not have trusted yourself.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. This is what I did. I'm gonna say for real. I said, "Look, hey, water is just energy. The dry washer's working and the washer's draining, but it's backing up in here. It's just energy, guy. Clear this energy up, cause I ain't got no time for it."
That's
I
right.
laid my ass down. That's what I actually said. And I went
Yeah.
and it was all clear. I just cleaned up the mess where stuff had backed up to make my tub dirty, you know. And it's like, hey, I ain't even gonna trip on this. Because I allowed it to be, because shit happens. I'm gonna say we live, shit happens. Just clean up the shit.
Yeah. And this one, they allow, like, those who pursue power allow their emotions to guide them and they become exhausted. And that's the thing, like, you laid down because that's what you did. That's not because of exhaustion. It's just like, okay, well, God, take care of this. I'm going to lay down and just take my leave. If you would have allowed your emotions to guide you, once again, you would have called, you would have reached out, you would have done all of this stuff and you would have just ran around all. Oh, I didn't realize you were gone. Um, Bringing it back up now. Those who pursue power and excitement find themselves confused. They allow their emotions to guide them and they become exhausted. It is not from Tao, and whatever is not from Tao arrives dead.
Mhm. That's right. And the thing is that when we panic and when we react instead of I responded. I didn't react. A reaction would have been me on the floor, immediately calling the plumber, calling everybody. Oh my God, my toilet, my bathtub, everything's backing up. Oh, I got these dirty clothes. I need to. Oh man, I could just see it. I saw it when I was dealing with it. I'm like, Lois, you're so calm. Why are you so calm? And the old Lois would have been all tripping, okay? But you
Yeah.
know what? It just is. If the floor had gotten messed up, hell, I can go and get some more planks and put them planks down there. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't finna let that. No. I was finna. I needed some rest, so I
Yeah,
laid my
that's
ass
right.
down.
That's it. All right. Well,
Okay,
you know,
but yeah,
because, it's oftentimes if we don't want to put things down, we want to get our grubby little hands in them.
we
We
want to
want to be like,
force it. We want
we
to
want to
force
force
it.
it. We want to,
Yeah.
it's like that stillness is so important. That stillness,
Yes.
even in the face of all of this, just like, you know, bees, wild beast, and birds of prey cannot harm him. Water cannot harm you, like,
That's
because,
right.
and this is about just kind of being like caught in the manifestation, thinking that this water is the thing. The myriad scream for a time, and like you could do that. You could scream your head off saying all of this stuff, and then two
Hmm.
days later, plumber comes. All the stuff happens, and then
Hmm.
it's over, and then you're on to the next thing that's going to give you an emotional boost, an
Yeah.
emotional frustration.
And that wasn't the kind of emotional boost or anything that I
No,
desired. So therefore, it got none of my response. It got me
that's right.
laying my ass down, saying, "Make sure ain't nothing gonna leak too far." I'm going to sleep. I ain't got no
Yeah,
time for this shit. But
that's
I mean, and it wasn't like I don't care. It wasn't even like that. It was just
no.
that, hey, it just is, and I'm not sure what to do right now. To panic is a waste of time and energy, and I'm not giving myself over to fear. I like staying in this place of peace and love. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
and
the thing
and
is,
and
eventually it's
knowing
gonna
that
get
this is
fixed.
knowing that this is just what's happening right now. You
Yeah,
ain't gonna
it just
change it.
is.
Like,
That's
what are
right.
you gonna do with all that water? You're gonna get a straw? Well, fuck. Like, you can
Uh,
mop it up, you can fucking, like, you can put some shit down, but that's it. That's all you can do.
okay.
And like, there are times where it's like, the toilet's backing up, and it's like, yeah, okay, you can plunge it, but sometimes you just gotta watch it
I just had
overflow.
to then, and that's what was necessary, was watching it, making sure that the floor was protected, and then go and rest.
Yeah,
Because there was nothing I could do about it, because the dresser
clear your
had to
mind.
finish, the washer had to finish spinning, and I couldn't stop. Oh, go stop the water, man! I done thought of all kinds of crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
took the
yeah,
clothes out wet and drug them over to my daughter's house. Oh my God, I know my old self. But
yeah,
this time
yeah.
I was
And
like,
it would have
hey,
been you would have reached out to your daughter, you would have reached out to your family and just been like, "Isn't this crazy? Like, everybody's got to get down. Everybody's got to be affected by this because this
yes,
is the worst thing." And it's like, "Nah, bitch. Like,
no,
it's just some motherfucking water."
thank you very much. They were, when I did to my daughter, she says, "Well, mom, what you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm getting ready to go to the hardware store." She said, "What you finna build?" I'm like, "I'm not building. I'm because I like to build stuff." She
Yeah.
said, I'm not building anything. I'm just gonna put some stuff in the toy." She said, "Oh, what happened?" And I told her. She said, "Oh, mom, you can come wash your clothes in my house anytime you want to." I said, "I already know that." I said, "I ain't worrying about all this."
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
right. I just
"Evidently,
gotta
it
I just
ain't
gotta
time."
go to the hardware store, so I gotta let you go.
Okay, so yeah, basically, and just let it and let the shit go. But yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Stay at
Inner strength
peace.
and harmony. You got that.
Yeah, stay in
In
peace.
spades.
Stay in peace, man. This shit,
Yes.
it ain't worth it.
Definitely.
And I told you, fear. I found out that fear and heart failure are the same symptoms.
Yeah.
Okay, so because you're that ejection refractioning, and it's like what? But yeah, man, I've been learning so many good things recently just by just sitting still.
Yeah.
In that I said, just stay in your isness. It
That's
just
right.
is. It's not good or bad. It's not up or down. It's not a lot or a little. It just is whatever the fuck it is.
That's
you
right.
know don't label it with an adjective. You got to live that shit. I could have
That's right.
said, "Oh my god, flood." Oh my
Yeah.
god, and I would have probably had a flood. you
Get
know
over yourself. And
there it is.
yeah,
There it
that's
is,
right.
that
Like,
vain imaginings.
that's the thing. Like, we
Mm.
all want to think, like, this is the worst thing ever and everybody's got to be. And it's like, "No, you're all
Mm-mm.
right. You're all right. You're always going to be all right." Now, now reach out to your people when you need to, but sit still. Like, be
Yeah.
still in this.
Be
Feel this
still. Be
through. This is
still first.
happening for a reason.
Yeah. Be still first.
Yeah.
And figure that out. Don't just jump up and start that man. That kind of stress will kill you.
Yeah.
Literally dead.
No, I'm telling you.
Okay.
You know, we had read "You Are Not Manifestation" earlier. It's like study others and gain some knowledge. Study yourself and gain deep wisdom. Like this idea that like if you have a problem and you reach out to someone else, all of a sudden like you're living under their influence.
Yeah, you're giving somebody else. It's like I wrote something today, and I said, "Don't give the keys to your happiness. Don't put the keys to your happiness in somebody else's pocket." And when you
Yeah.
reach out immediately for somebody else to save you, okay, when you can be saving yourself, then you're giving somebody else the keys to basically control your emotions and control you. But if you get control over this, whatever the situation is first, or either don't even look at it as a situation that needs to be controlled. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It just is. Then you realize, hey, hey, wait a minute, I'm different. I don't need to do that. I don't have to do that. There's a time when I believe, like I said, when I thought it was necessary to panic and get the mop and get the bucket and plunge. But if I would have plunged, it would have made it worse. I can tell you that
Mm-hmm.
already. If I would have plunged it and made it worse because of the splash water everywhere and not just the little bit that came out, because it was
Yeah.
going down as it was filling up. So it's like, so it wasn't a complete blockage,
Right.
you
You
know.
know, it's like you just got to be patient sometimes.
There
Sometimes
it
you just
is.
got to be still.
There it is. And that's the whole thing about this one is you just got to be just be. It's just being. And
Yeah, because
I
that,
love this just being. This just being is very free. Just being is
yeah,
very freeing.
yeah.
Didn't mean to rhyme, but hey.
Like, hey, you know,
But
and that's the thing when we talk about this little boy. That little boy is just running out, doing his thing. He's, trying to explore the world.
hmm
And he's got this. He's got, his penis can stand erect, but he doesn't try and cover it up. He's like, oh well, like this is interesting. There's that thing's happening, and
oh,
then
he don't fit. He ain't thinking. Oh, I got to do something about it.
yeah, and he doesn't have any knowledge. He's not living under the influence of any of it. And
Mhm.
all he can do is just be who he is without judgment.
That's right.
And
Well,
that's what we can do.
so much, Martin. That was a
Uh,
good one. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
absolutely.
I'm
Hey,
staying my
how's
peace.
how's how's everything going like how's everything going?
Everything's going good. I mean, really, everything's going good. I still don't know what my next move is, so I'm going to
Yeah,
still just
still.
enjoy life just the way it is. Because, like I said, before God told me I was coming out of retirement, I was retired. So I'm going to continue enjoying retirement until He tell me what I'm coming out to do.
All right. Well, yeah,
And
you
it's
keep
just like
enjoying it.
that.
And I keep enjoying you. So you just keep
Well,
coming back.
I definitely will. Thank you, Martin John. I
All right.
appreciate you and I love you, my brother.
Love you.
Okay, bye bye.
Ciao. All right. So we covered 33 and 55. A lot of double numbers today. A lot of double numbers. Um, Maybe I can finish this off with doing 44. I mean, what the hell? Why not? So the influence of excess. So I'm going to take a note really quick that I'm doing 44. Not that I would forget, but if anybody wants to come up, you can. Otherwise, I'll read through this and maybe we'll wrap up. The influence of excess, fame or integrity. Which of these do you focus on seeing and obtaining? Possessions or fulfillment. In which do you spend your time investing? Success or failure. Of which has offered you the most growth? Under the influence, you spend yourself, accumulating only loss and regret. Oh, Johnny's up. Fulfill your needs and be content. When you know excess is excessive, you'll be open to receiving harmony. Johnny, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, Martin John. Yourself? How
All right.
how are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm doing really well. I was just kind of going through and kind of killing a little time to see if anybody wanted to come up and talk. I talked with Jermaine earlier. He is new to the app, and that was nice to chat with him. And we picked 33, and then Lois came up and picked 55. So I was just kind of finishing the triad with 44, and I just read through that really briefly. But yeah, I would love to talk about a chapter with you.
Well, I didn't want to cut you off with 44.
Oh
So,
wow! Like yeah,
so
that's
if you want,
really it's just
if you,
it was just what do I want to say? It was just like being able to stay on until somebody came up. So you came up,
okay.
and yeah, that was I do that like as a I do that as a way of just staying on a little longer and seeing if anybody is hanging out or gonna come up. Like I don't want to just do 30 minutes. I'll do a little bit longer, and we'll see if I can get anybody up.
Okay, that's good to know for future reference because I felt a bit guilty about cutting you off there. So
No,
stop.
no, no.
Uh,
I could have left
um,
you in the queue and just kind of
that's true.
finished it and stuff. So this is about engaging, and that was just because we did 33 and then 55. I was like, what the hell? I'll do 44. Like it was just kind of like, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, exactly. I've been listening for a little while. It was really interesting to hear about your backstory, or some of your backstory, actually, about um, dealing and recovering from MS. And
Oh yeah.
this might be a little bit tangential, but I was just wondering how you found the Tao Te Ching has helped with your recovery.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know that the Tao helps. So aligning with Tao helps with recovering me, right? The true essence of who I am and what I am. And so I don't. So when I got diagnosed with MS and lost so much motor function and sensation, um, recognizing, just like Lois was saying, this idea that, well, there's no lamenting that I lost something. I was able to walk before, and now I'm not, and that's okay.
Well, I
Today,
heard,
I can walk. But when I was in hospital, right, I wasn't, because the flare up took so much of my motor function. So I was in bed for a month, and during that, my mind stayed strong, and I didn't fall to, because I accepted this moment. Now, I accepted that moment, and I didn't just accept it and throw it in the towel. I accepted it and took care of my body and my mind and my diet and all of the things. I did all of the things that, were presented to me that I could do. And currently, I don't take any medication, and I haven't had a flare up in years. And I monitor, and so the Tao really helped me understand that the manifestation, what I'm experiencing, isn't truth, and I am, if that makes sense.
can you just repeat the last part? The
Yeah,
last your
like,
last
so
sentence?
what I'm experiencing is not truth, but I am
Okay.
truth. Like, deep within
Yeah,
me is truth, not what my body is experiencing, but there is
yeah,
something within me that is greater than all of that. And that is something that I had learned through my addiction recovery, right? So I got 22 years clean and sober, and in December I will. And all of that was about me recovering myself, and that's the work that I do primarily, is this idea of, like, how does one recover to something rather than recovering from it? And what you recover to is your whole self, and your whole self is expressed very well in Tao.
yeah, absolutely. No, that's really interesting and really helpful as well. So thank you for that. And I was
Absolutely.
impressed by what you said this morning, and that you obviously got up early and you went for a run. So obviously you're in a good place.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You
So
know, like, and
and
that's the thing for me. My morning routine, although I don't stick with it like religiously. It's not like if I don't do it, I'll be like, oh, I didn't do my routine and now I'm in a bad mood because I'm connected to Tao. And I'm like, oh, I'm in a bad mood. Interesting. Well, am I being called to go back to my routine, or am I being called to, like, and it's not as if not being in my routine made my life suck, but it gave me experiences that I get to live with and have for myself to continue growing.
yeah, sure,
Yeah,
sure. Oh, thank you.
absolutely.
Um,
Always open to chat. Do you have a number then?
I do. Yes, please, if you don't mind. 34, please.
34. Wonderful. 34 is entitled Tao is in Everything, which is interesting, as we were talking about this. So Tao flows in every direction and is received by all things regardless of their awareness. Beings are born from it, yet it doesn't create them. Its work is in every action taken, providing for everything, yet it makes no claim. Being at the root of all things, it is hidden within action. It has no motive, no desire. It promotes the greatness of beings. Thus, its greatness is humble and pure.
It does. Some of what resonates from that verse. Do you call it a verse or a chapter?
Yeah,
Um,
I don't even know, but yes, I call them both.
okay. um, some of what resonates is what we were just talking about, or your last line
Yeah,
in about coming from truth.
right.
And uh, if you know, we if we can lose all that conditioning, if we can lose all those, well, I think at the beginning we were talking about parents and grandparents and how all of that conditioning
Mm,
influences how sort of we view life. If we can
yeah.
sort of undo all of that conditioning, we can then get to our essence and our truth,
Hmm.
and we can act from that place. Um, yeah, I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind rereading that, please,
Yeah, we're gonna read
or
it.
go
What we're gonna
or
do is
go.
go through it section by section, and then we'll
Okay,
we'll
that's
we'll
great.
explore it a little bit deeper. So Tao flows in every direction and is received by all things, regardless of their awareness. So you don't have to be aware that Tao is in you and part of you, but it's still there, and it is guiding you.
Okay. So yeah, so that's like the concept. Oh, again, it's about these different labels, or whether we think it's uh, us, the universe supporting us, or sort of our higher consciousness or our soul, or just yeah, the Tao
Yeah,
is all ever present.
right. It is ever present, and even if you are greedy and you go out and you do things that you want you want all of this stuff, even though the Tao says that stuff's not going to make you happy or anything, you can go out and do that, and the Tao is still guiding you to do those things because there is a lesson that you need to learn. And maybe wanting those things that say are not in keeping with Tao, that's Tao too. Tao is bringing you to a place where you will experience misery because you need to learn that you are Tao.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's sort of, it's along the lines of to really appreciate happiness, you have to have experienced sadness. You
Yeah, you
need that
can't have one
yin yang.
without the other. And the thing
Yeah,
is the Tao brings you to have neither, actually. You know, it's like it's not about being happy. It's about being here. You know, like that is not sadness. It's not anything, you know, it's not like it's it's experienced that way. You know, it's
yeah.
it's
It's
like
kind of it's
no,
kind.
you're here and
Mm,
this is great.
yes, it's
So as
kind
this
of
continue,
contentment.
oh, go on, please.
Sorry, it was kind of, yeah. By experiencing the two extremes, you can find yourself. You can live in the middle. If I don't,
Yeah.
you can live in sort of a contentment of no of having experienced the two extremes.
Yeah, and I think that's what people express as bliss. You know, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm not, you know, I'm not blissed out of my mind or like fucking like excited and running around like I gotta, you know, like I'm a 2-year old with a balloon. It's like, no, I'm just here and this is beautiful,
yeah.
you know. And so as this continues, it says, beings are born from it, yet it doesn't create them. Its work is every action taken, providing for everything, yet it makes no claim. So Tao doesn't take credit for creating, you know, it doesn't create them. Like you have a relationship with a woman and you create a child. Tao is part of that child and part of you, but it didn't create the child, but it inspired within you the actions that, you know, like that's natural. It's natural for us to want to create children, right? Sex is pleasurable and all of these things. It's
Absolutely.
work. Go on.
Absolutely, and the Tao gave you the experience. The
Right,
Tao, you know, procreation is just part of nature, and
right.
Tao allowed you to be natural.
Yeah. And that's where this next line is. Its work, the work of Tao, is every action taken. Every action that we take is the work of Tao, providing for everything. It provides for you. So if you go to a job, you get money. If you grow food, if you pick food, if you harvest, if you do anything like that, it's providing for you. It's providing for you the experiences that you need. It's providing for you the food. It's providing for you the struggles. It's providing for you all that you need. Yet it makes no claim.
Is only providing if you take that action.
And you
If
can't but take that action.
Yeah,
Because Tao flows and is received by all things regardless of your awareness. Being at the root of all things, it is hidden within action. So the action of all things is where Tao is hidden. It's hidden in within us. Like what causes us to do the things we do? That's in Tao. And that is Tao guiding us. And we could ruin the earth, but that's still being guided by Tao. And your pain, your experience of pain is part of that. You're experiencing, like our experiencing global warming is part of our not being, you know, not moving in the direction of that Tao moves. We are moving with resistance, and in order to move away from that resistance, Tao is giving us this experience of pain.
oh, I see. So it's more. So that feels more of a resistance
That's our
to
resistance
Tao,
to
our
living
resistance.
like Tao, right? So Tao is underneath it all. And it's not like global warming's bad. We just label it bad. And if we didn't
Yeah,
label
sure.
it bad, maybe we can just be here. And you know, like it is when we are not in line with Tao, and you got 20 seconds, but you can come back up
Okay,
so we
thank
can
you.
finish this up. When we are not in line, that's when we find pain. You know, when we are not aligned with with that stillness, we find pain and we find difficulty. And those are the things that, like a lot of people want to say that, like manifestation or all these things are benevolent. They only go for good. And yeah, they only go for good. But if you define that which is good as bad, you are going to experience pain.
I think what you were just saying there is key to me. Is sort of is everything is, or every action comes from the Tao, but
Yeah.
but we have a resistance, and if we don't align ourselves with the Tao, then that's when the Tao can send us in sort of directions to teach us lessons
We will
and help us.
experience what Tao is sending us as painful, as discomfort, as, because the Tao says, hey, this is just what is. And the more you, the more Tao is trying to get you to align with your true nature. The more you
Yes.
align with things that are not your true nature, which is not truth, then the more are, you perceive the world as manifestation, as you experience it, rather than understanding that that's just a movie. That's just an experience. It's not bad. You may experience it as bad because you might get caught up in the movie. But the truth, as Dr. Rao would say, Dr. Rao's here on this app, he would say, the truth is the screen that the movie's being projected on. Can you, while watching the movie, see the screen? The screen is
Uh,
Tao. That's you. That's real. The movie, the people, the experience, the manifestation, that's not real. But if you get caught up in manifestation, you will experience pain. You will experience loss. But there is no pain. There is no loss. That is just part of the manifestation. That's just part of the movie. Now, if you can observe those things and learn and be still, then you will recognize that, and if you can be like Tao as this piece finishes, it has no motive, no desire. We as human beings very often have motive and desire.
yes.
It promotes the greatness of beings. It promotes our greatness. Tao promotes the greatness of us. And yet, we look outside of ourselves looking for greatness and looking to be different than we are. But we're the great things that Tao is promoting. Thus, the greatness of Tao is humble and pure. It doesn't want anything from us. It doesn't want us to do anything more than we are. But if we experience any discomfort, that's Tao saying, hey, you don't have to do that. You're better than that. Here's some actions. Let me
Yeah.
inspire you. And don't hold on to those things.
I think that's key, isn't it? Don't hold on to them. And I've not heard that analogy before that you would that is it Dr. Rao? Did you mention
Yeah, Dr. Rao.
who use who uses the idea of there's a distinction between the the movie screen and the film that you're projecting onto it,
Right.
and we get so caught up in the movie that we become I want not embroiled, but we become so enmeshed in it
Yeah.
we
We think it's
cannot
real.
we think it's real and we cannot see anything else. But
Right.
it's the idea of being stepping back and having that stillness, and even being able to actually observe the movie, but also appreciate the screen behind the movie.
Yeah.
It's yeah, that's
Or observe the screen and appreciate the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like that's the thing. Like, what are you observing, and what are you like you can appreciate that it is. And I think that how you expressed it is how people look at religion. You know, they can observe, they 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 can observe the movie because they're all caught up in it, and there's these ways of observing it, right? We got to pray, and we got to do these things, and we got to be these ways, right? Like, because that's the movie. And then we can recognize that behind it there's God. But really, if we can observe the screen and appreciate the movie, that puts it in proper order, right? Because the screen is truth. So
Yes.
observe that. Work on observing the screen and just appreciating the fact that you're part of the movie. That you're also witnessing this movie go on. You're
I
watching the
think that
leaves change color.
I think that's the key, isn't it? For me, it's witnessing the movie, as because there's a lot of metaphors around that say that we are the actor in the movie, or we are the director, the screenwriter, the actor.
Yeah, we're the
y-
CEO, right? Like, but
yeah, absolutely. We
yeah,
we 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 create that movie in some ways,
right.
but it's quite nice to be able to actually detach and step back and have that perspective and know that the underlying screen or the underlying Tao, God, is what's is is sort of solid and true, and
Yeah,
that's what the movie is being projected onto.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's us,
that's
right?
yeah, that's us. Yeah, that's what was really interesting, Martin John. Thank you.
I'm very glad you joined me. Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, Martin John, and I hope you have a great day. And I'll
I my wishes for that as for you as well.
thank you, and
All right.
yeah, I'll continue listening in case you have any more listeners or
Yeah, I
guests.
do. I
Sorry.
have one more sitting in the queue. We're gonna switch out now. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Sonia's coming up. I don't talk to Sonia all that often, so I'm really glad she's coming up.
Hi, Martin John. How are you?
How are you?
Great. I haven't
Good.
been
I'm
for
so
a
glad.
long time, so I thought I'd come and say hi today.
Oh, that's beautiful. I really appreciate you coming up. Are you like we were just talking about Dr. Rao? Are you still part of Dr. Rao's healing group?
Yes, I'm in his wellness. I just finished actually not so long. It's 4 a.m. for me here because I'm in the Pacific time. He does his
Oh,
class at 6 a.m. Central, right?
yeah.
So
I
I'm pretty
didn't.
up pretty early.
And is that where does he do that?
He does it on Zoom. Yeah,
On
so you
Zoom.
can sign
Okay.
up on the classes.
Yeah, I might
So,
have to reach out to him to get that because I do. I'm always intrigued at what Dr. Rao has to offer and
yeah,
all of the
and
things that he does. And
it's
so maybe I'll shoot him a text and get that link.
yeah,
Um,
it's
Wonderful.
incredible
So
actually.
I'm glad that you coming out of that, and I'm looking forward to hearing what number you have and what we can explore today.
Today I've been seeing a lot of fives, so 55s, yeah.
55. We'll look at 55. 55 is entitled Inner Strength and Harmony, and we addressed this a little bit ago with Lois, but we're going to look at this from a different perspective now.
Oh,
One who has inner strength is like a baby boy, unspoiled, flexible, and empty with no judgment. Bees, wild beasts, birds of prey cannot harm him. With no knowledge of the world, his penis can stand erect, and he has no shame or question of why. Caught in manifestation, the myriad scream for a time, and he hardly notices. His harmony is so aligned that he can also scream all day without getting hoarse. He is powered by his harmony, and he keeps all fear at bay. The Master never speaks of possessing anything. Life is the blessing. Those who pursue power and excitement find themselves confused. They allow their emotions to guide them, and they become exhausted. It is not from Tao, and whatever is not from Tao arrives dead. Thoughts?
yeah. I, the last few days are going back to the childhood, right, where it's all freedom. And I was always in that play, and I was just, I feel when I feel like if I ever get stressed, I go back to that time and I know I can free myself from there, right? That's how I see the childhood. You know, last few days it's more going back because everything's kind of asking and yeah, I just feel a sense of freedom because when I was growing up, my parents were both working, and of course, in the third world country, you're just like wandering everywhere, right? And this is when the time I was like 8 years old and below, right? And so there was no restriction. We're just exploring, like it's just like natural, right? Coming
Yeah.
born in that. So I felt like when the rain, the sun, I just love it. It's just like totally, and you know, we have rice fields, we have farms, vegetable farms. I mean, we have to do our chores, but it's like everything else is like your time, you know, as long as you
Yeah.
do those things, right?
Right.
And I was just like, I revel in that freedom, and nobody was like telling me what to do, right? When you come here in Canada, I was different, of course.
Yeah.
So, and you know, when you're in a new country, you're like following the rules here, right? And it was kind of interesting, and of course, transition and all of these things. I didn't like. I felt like that's when, you know, in terms of freedom, there's like strange world and everything, but and of course, teachers are different and everything, right? So
Yeah.
so I think childhood was like my best time. I would just like go around in nature. Like I would watch as each rice blades kind of grew, you know, the
Mm.
plant and everything. I was so fascinated because it's all tall. Of course, when you're 8 years old, everything's, you know, way huge, right?
Yeah.
So, and I would go between the rice when it was growing and seeing all the animals and stuff like that. Like this is like my sisters. That I have four, right? So there's five of us. So we're free to do whatever we want during the time when my parents are working, right? And so I was just like fascinated by everything, right? Yeah, I mentioned like, you know, as each stage when we were doing the seedling for planting the rice, right, and then it sprouted, and then we spread it across, you know, the rice field. Of course, the field itself has to be tended, and
Yeah.
so I really enjoy that process, like just seeing the fruit come out when we do plant and when we dedicate ourselves to the time. It's not all of these words, you know, I don't know before. It's just like the enjoyment of the freedom. I mean, it was raining and everything, right, during the time of that rice planting, right? But I was like enjoying. I didn't mind as a child. I love water. I love rain,
Yeah.
and it was just like for me, it was just beautiful. No matter what. I mean, we were most of the time going around with no shoes, right? That's
Yeah.
how we work over there, right?
Yeah.
And the only time we wear shoes is because we're in the cement and it's a hot country, right? Because it's like melting your feet and blisters and
Yeah.
everything, right? And so I did a lot on the earth thing. So I felt the freedom, the energy is just like I'm, you know, the fruit, the snakes, the bugs, everything, you know, it's just like part of like my childhood life. I really enjoy, you know, those times, and reflecting on it just give me like sense of peace, and it's just like everything is okay, like what you just mentioned, like the harmony part. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know, bring yourself to balance is, you know, as now I came to appreciate, right?
You know, as we look at this, you know, like this first verse, you know, and it specifies a baby boy because we do talk about the erect penis later, but you know, it could just be a child if we just remove that. So one who has inner strength is like a child, unspoiled, flexible, and empty with no judgment. You're not judging the work you're doing. You're just doing it and you're enjoying it and you're enjoying this moment because it's full.
Mm,
Bees, wild beasts like snakes and whatever, birds of prey cannot harm him. You cannot be harmed by those things, and they're beautiful, and they're your partners, and they're out there with you.
mm. Yeah, I just, yeah, I don't see it as like, you know, people are afraid of snakes and bugs and all of these things, but for me it was just like I didn't I didn't think of it as afraid or anything because it's part of everything, right?
Yeah,
And so when I, they say it's a learned reactions and stuff like that. And when I came here, people are afraid, and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, it has its own thing. It doesn't bother you, right? Unless you
Right.
bother them, right? It's
And
just
that's an
trying.
inner strength. That's an
Mm-hmm.
inner strength, an inner knowing that
Yeah.
you are connected. And those and maybe being in Canada has made you experience things differently. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. And like grown to live a little more under the influence and weakened that response. And so, but if you still have inner strength, that
Mm-hmm.
inner strength, when you have inner strength, you know that you are in accordance with everything and that all things are beautiful
Yeah.
and connected, you know. And here, as this piece goes on, caught in manifestation, the myriad scream for a time and he hardly notices. You just like that child, right? Like you can see people screaming on the news all the time, but you don't have to get caught up in it. Just like I was talking with Johnny and mentioning how Dr. Rao talks about the screen and not the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
He.
not the movie that's being projected, but you don't even have to notice
Mm-hmm.
what's on the what's being projected because you know that you're connected and you observe the screen, the
Yeah.
truth.
I shut down the news. Like, I don't watch TV now.
Good for you.
Um,
Yeah.
for over a year now, and it's been completely like for me, it's been silenced, and I just
Yes.
because all the emotions,
They
when
they they they
yeah,
know how they it is their job to know how to manipulate your emotions.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
and when you recognize that they work every day
mm-hmm.
at getting you to be emotional and to pay attention, to stay focused, and that's what's happening everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We lose ourselves. We lose our inner strength because we are too busy
Yeah,
following our emotions and following those things that get us to respond.
mm-hmm. Yeah. It is beautiful when you can like the emotions, you know, but it's on your own time that
Right.
you yeah,
And in your own terms, not
mm-hmm.
being manipulated to have emotions that you don't really have
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and care for things that you don't care about because you're afraid of losing connection,
mm-hmm.
which is, I mean, if when one can step back and observe, you can see very
Mm-hmm.
clearly how they try to get you to pay more attention.
Yeah. I deal with social media myself, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like what you just said, right? Imagine it's a movie. I kind of do like that now, so it doesn't affect me as much,
Right.
right? So, but I do watch and see like the trends and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And so this is kind of like an interesting thing. But if I choose to enjoy something, then I can, like
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
aspect. Yeah.
And like when you have inner strength,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. Dr. Rao's always telling me don't engage in either because if I if I move outside of doubt, it'll be harder to get back in. And I think that I know that he's right. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that like recently I've been trying to be, stay in Tao more,
Mm-hmm.
so that I don't get caught up in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's not easy because you got to step away from things that really feel good,
Mm-hmm.
that make you feel like, and that's not always pleasant.
Yeah.
The master never speaks of possessing anything. Life is the blessing.
Yes. This is
That's the
and
thing. This life,
kindness.
this
Yeah.
moment, that's the blessing. No matter
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah. It's yeah. I tend to like I love going into my garden or to the beach, right? And it gives me, in terms of the greens and it just the air all around is just beautiful, right? And the beach, the ocean, the smell, you know, the foot on into the ocean. It's just like it's just for me. It's just the awesome thing, and I spend a lot of time there, because with internet you can work anywhere, or you can just set aside and then just go for a walk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just enjoy life so much more, and to understand and to place everything. And I know we tend to, like, a lot of it is, this, moving away from comfort, right?
Hmm.
And if you can see each day, each moment new, it's a wonderful thing to be able to see and absorb, and
Yeah.
just taking in. And
Yeah, this one wraps up in a beautiful way that is
mm,
aligned with that, right? Those who pursue power and excitement find themselves confused. They allow their emotions to guide them, and they become exhausted.
mm, yeah, I
But it's
I
not.
was once there,
Yeah, we all. No, no, no. That's the world. That's the world, and and we do become exhausted because our emotions are guiding us, and we're watching the news and we're doing all that. I mean, I stopped watching the news, well before 9/11. It was really interesting. And when 9/11 happened, I was like, is that real? I didn't even know because because I had not really paid attention to the news. But when you allow your emotions to guide you, you become exhausted. It's not from Tao. You're not in line. You don't have inner strength. And whatever doesn't have Tao, whatever is not from Tao, arrives dead. So you show up and you're already becoming exhausted.
Mhm. Yeah. Ah, I'm glad we came. I mean, I came.
Well, I'm glad I was here for you to
Thank you.
come. Absolutely. I love you, Sonia. I'm so glad that you're here on Wisdom with us. You're such a light.
Thank you. I love you too. Take care, okay?
Yep, you as well.
Bye.
Bye bye. So we covered inner strength and harmony twice today, and they have very different experiences, and it was a really beautiful experience today. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate everything that you guys bring to me and offer me throughout these Dows of the day or Dow of the days. I don't know. I don't know how to, like. I know sons of bitches is the way, so it's maybe Dows of the day. um, all right, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Again, if you are interested, if you benefit from the work I do, please consider giving me a tip through Venmo at @martinjohn_Garcia, or you can check out my links on Linktree, and you can tip me there as well. I appreciate all of you that listen and all of you that just support the DAO and the work that I'm doing. Thank you again. The translations that I read today were all from my translation, which will be digitized and stuff probably by the new year, and you'll be able to pick up a copy and follow along when I read these. Thank you so much, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.